go to a date that folks are doing other things. So this is Wednesday, and we're in Pahokee, so it's church night, and that's okay. Glad to have you here, and as promised, we are going to continue these town hall meetings. Well, not really. Well, I wanted to do them monthly, but sometimes our schedules get very inundated, and we can't put one of these in on a monthly basis. So I apologize for having it this late since June. I think it last was June 30th, and we probably should have had one early August, but we didn't have the opportunity to do that. But regardless of the fact we're here tonight, we'll continue having these town hall meetings. And again, the town hall meetings are much different than our commission meetings. It's just an opportunity to engage the city manager, our staff, and to really begin to bridge that gap in what we need to do for the city of Pahokee to move forward. And so our first town hall meeting I thought was very successful. I don't have t-shirts tonight. Yeah, I don't have t-shirts tonight, but we're going to get some more of those incentive things I think are very important to have on hand when we're talking to our visitors and hopefully tourists when they come through our city to give out. But our first town hall meeting, we talked about some of those things that us as an administration should be doing, what I should be doing as an administrator for the city of Pahokee. And we outlined some of those things that we're going to implement and put into action here for the city of Pahokee. Now, I had an easel, but the easel is not here yet. So my human easel is going to hold this up, maybe. But I outlined some of those things that we had a conversation about in the last town hall meeting, and I'll bulletin them back out for you. You can read very brief. Maybe you don't have more than 35 people show up. I mean, 35 copies. And this is a short synopsis of some of the things that we had a discussion about on June 30th. And you'll see some of those responses in there to some of that discussion. And before we get to that, you know, we've read a lot about the city of Pahokee the last several weeks. Most of it has not been positive, but you know, we can't concentrate on that. We certainly have some challenges here in the city of Pahokee. I knew that when I took the job, and but you know, when we read about things as, you know, wanting to dissolve the city and some of the other conversations out there, that's an opportunity in my eyes to, you know, really focus in on the issues that we face on a daily basis. And for me, all that did was put a spotlight on the challenges that we have. And instead of saying, let's just run the city down, let's start focusing on some of the solutions that we have collectively that we can bring to the table. And that's where we need to be as far as how we fix some of the ailments that face the city of Pahokee. I've said before that we have to get beyond our historical differences. I still say that. We share in these challenges in the city of Pahokee. No one's exempt from these challenges in the city of Pahokee. What ails one person on one side of town is certainly going to affect someone's business on the other side of town, someone's personal life. We share in these challenges, and you know, when you get challenged, you know, you can do one or two things. You can go hide in a corner somewhere and, you know, scream your head off, or you can come and face those challenges head on. And sometimes I take personal challenges very well, and sometimes I don't. But you get to a certain, I guess, point when you're in the midst of things that you have some clarity. And you know, I had some clarity over the last few days.
Thank you.
And I'm not going anywhere. I figured that out this morning. Thought about it, but we are sharing these challenges. And the worst thing we can do is try to find weaknesses within each other. Because when you're done doing that, the challenges still remain. So I'm here to work with all of my commissioners. They're here to work with me, and we're here to work with this community. We need your support. We need your passion. We need your energy. We need your suggestions. You know, I say all the time, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, so I hired Ms. Moore. Because we need that collective energy of all of those individuals who care about the city of Pahokee. And so I can't get distracted when the city gets attacked in the media or someone has something to say about the city manager or his staff. We can't get distracted of why we're here on this journey together. We can't. Or else eventually, you know, we'll go back to, you know, not trying to resolve the issues that we face. So we have to stay focused, and I'm going to remain focused. I have to take the high road on a lot of things because I tell Ms. Moore sometimes, if I say something, it might not come out right. So you need to say it for me. But I've learned to kind of channel some of my energy to a more higher place, and that higher place is to help the city of Pahokee. It's my only focus. I don't care about anything else, personally. So you can, you know, the media, they're welcome to write what they want. You're welcome to come at me any way you want. That's fine. You know, I've seen challenges before. I spoke about my personal challenges in life, and it has nothing to do with people. It has to do with, you know, my health. And so, you know, by the grace of God, I'm still here. So no other challenge can bother me, really. Doesn't bother. Gets my attention, but it doesn't bother. These are the things that we spoke about that we wanted to see happen in the city of Pahokee from an administrative perspective. And some of those things we bulleted back out there for you can see. And we talked about business development, education, building relationships with local businesses, road repair, self-sufficiency, arena beautification, lobbyists for the city, and open government and administration. So let me start with business development. We have a couple of entities interested in the city of Pahokee. We're currently pursuing those entities to come and relocate to the city of Pahokee. One has already been permitted, and that's the biomass. You read right there that you can see that they're going to be providing about 120 to 150 jobs over the next 2 to 3 years. You know, it's an average low salary. It's still an opportunity for some of our residents to find a job and support their families. I think one of the job descriptions is for transportation drivers, which goes up to $20 an hour, which is great. That's a great commitment from this organization. And they had some difficulty trying to get their permits approved by SWA, but we're finally through that process. We're working with the VDB and Career Source. We're going to be identifying some of the job descriptions for our staff, for our residents. What I did emphasize to the VDB and Career Source is that priority should start with Pahokee residents. And that those job descriptions and those opportunities should begin with the residents in Pahokee. That's important. If you're going to locate your business here, the citizens here, the residents here, need an opportunities for those jobs first. So when we begin developing those job descriptions and the qualifications for those jobs, we need to identify the residents that live in here in the city of Pahokee. That's important. And we're not trying to push out, you know, Belglade or South Bay, but our residents, we need jobs as well. And that's how we, you know, begin to spearhead our economy, you know, to a very active and vibrant, you know, community that it once was before.
There's another part to that equation besides being designated, so to speak, for the citizens of Pahokee. It's getting those people to want the jobs, to get them to show up to the job fair or the place to get the job, if it, however it takes to get them there. Because I know many times we've had job fairs and, hey, nobody shows up or 1 or 2 people show up. So we need to get them there to be able to encourage them to get these jobs.
And that's one of the conversations that we're now having with Career Source. You know, what are some better avenues that we can come into those communities and locate these individuals that need the job but don't have the motivation to go and reach out and say, hey, I want this job, let me apply. You know, what are those avenues? Do we need to bring the job fair into the city of Pahokee? You know, I think sometimes it's a challenge to go to Career Source in Belle Bay. Career Source needs to come to Pahokee. And so that's some of the things that we're identifying now early. So not just for biomass, but for all these types of jobs that are located, we need to bring those recruitment tools into the communities, into the city of Pahokee, instead of expecting our residents to travel outside of the city just to apply for a job in the city of Pahokee. That's a challenge.
Just as a source of information for you and Tammy and anybody else in the room, but there is a board that has been put together for the Palm Beach County or Palm Beach State College. I happen to be on the board, and this board is very open and wanting to either create curriculum to train people to do some of these jobs that are going to be coming in, or anything else that the communities are seeing a need for. We're having another meeting on the 18th. If anybody has any suggestions or any information that you want me to take back to Dr. Bennett and the rest of our collective board, I'm happy to do that. But this board is making recommendations to Palm Beach State College to prepare our citizens in areas that they may not be able to get the training or whatever. They're wanting to do whatever they can do to help the communities.
What's the name of this board, Ms. Palm?
Palm Beach State College Advisory Board, and I think it's based on curriculum. You can talk to Heather Love and get a little more information on that. But it's a wide representation of the different communities on this board, and I think it will be a very effective board going forward.
Thank you, Ms. Moss, for that. So, you don't know much about Project Sweep? Yes, ma'am.
I just had one to add, and, something to what you said. Honestly speaking, I talk to a lot of people here, and I do a lot of networking. We do have some people just lazy, just don't want to come up and get a job, and don't put that effort forward. But you know the biggest problem that I found here in this community for the years that I've been here, the communication, is the citizens. I'm not putting all the blame on the people that's in charge or the ones that's running the city. But the biggest thing is the communication. Citizens don't know, because you got people doing their job.
Give me information.
So, exactly, and I think that was a good power pointer. If these many jobs coming through and it's approved through the city, why not hold a job fair here in Pahokee? I agree with that, that's all.
Thank you very much. Project Sweet, I just got an update this afternoon. We don't know much about Project Sweet. Supposed to be another additional 100 manufacturing jobs for the city of Pahokee. They're still seeking large investment funds to get started here in Pahokee. So that may come through. We're not positive yet. Traditionally, when we don't know the name of the company yet, they nickname it something. Right now it's called Project Sweet. So keep that in mind. Your relationship with local businesses. Now, someone made a comment last night that I've met no businesses in the city of Pahokee. I thought that was comical, but I think if I can get on a bicycle and ride through the city of Pahokee, I can count all the businesses on 10 hands. And it's less than 10 hands, less than 10 businesses, full-time businesses, that is. And I think I walked through every last one of their doors except 2. But more so, what we did when I first came here is I created a business roundtable with the support of the Chamber of Commerce. The business roundtable is designed to do this for businesses that are currently in the city of Pahokee. We want to bring our current businesses together, strategize on how to improve their businesses, be it small business loans to pay their employees, fix up their storefronts, how to invest and grow their businesses. All of those ideas are designed for the business roundtable. And so we have one coming up on the 24th, I believe. Every single business in the city of Pahokee will get that invitation again in the mail. And if they don't get in the mail, we'll walk it around and put it in their hands. So I want to dispel the rumor that we're not reaching out to the businesses in the city of Pahokee. We created that roundtable to help the businesses in the city of Pahokee. Because as you know, great business recruits other businesses to come into the city. And that's important. When we have vibrant businesses, they're able to hire 1 or 2 employees or 1 or 2 residents, and they look nice, they're clean, they're improving their storefronts. Another investor comes in, that is an eye catcher. That is recruitment of businesses. We can use our current businesses to recruit more businesses, and that's important. It sounds like a very small detail that is not, able to be accomplished. But you will be amazed at how many folks drive through the city of Pahokee every day and they take note of how the city looks, how businesses look, homes. They take note of that. Believe it or not, if you ask the VDB how many times they bought an organization out here, they can't stop counting the number of possible investors that have come through this community. The Chamber of Commerce can attest to this. They come to our community, they drive our streets. So at least that we can do is help our businesses, recruit those new opportunities for economic development. That's important. So the Business Roundtable is not going anywhere. It's going to be on a quarterly basis as well. We're going to be asking our businesses to come out. Some of them need help. Some of them need help. Someone needs to fix their storefronts, but they don't know the avenues to go get those state and federal dollars. We want to help with that. We want to help them be better, businesses to the residents of Pahokee. We want to help them improve their employee numbers. We want to help them pay their employees if they're having difficulty. We realize that this is a very difficult economic time, and businesses have they've cut back on services. They've also reduced their staff. So finding those opportunities to increase staff, to pay their staff, to fix their storefronts, that's important. And that's the reason why we have a business roundtable. So I just wanted to let you know that we're going to continue trying to build on the business roundtable. One of the most important things we're going to do is we're not going to stand up there and talk because we're not the experts in business. We're going to bring in those experts who understand how to, apply for those small business loans, on the state and federal level. Because we're not the experts. We need to bring in those guest speakers who can relay to our businesses how to grow their businesses, how to be better partners in the community. Because as you know, as we improve our businesses, we need them to be partners with the city, not the city administration, but with the city as a whole, as a community. We need their support. That's why I'm reaching out to some of our local businesses to be, sponsors of our local football team. We need to see their visibility within our city. That's important. That's very important. Every other city, invest in those type of collaborations with their local businesses. It gives them an opportunity to promote. It lends a helping hand to a function of the city, of the community, and it shows a vibrant piece of our small life here in Pahokee that we can put out and promote to residents, not just here in Palm Beach County, but nationwide. People look at our website, Waste Nationwide, by the way. It's not just here in Palm Beach County. A big attraction, as you know, is Lake Okeechobee. But attached to Lake Okeechobee is the city of Pahokee. So we have to be ready to take on, or prepared to take on those economic challenges, or not economic challenges, but those economic opportunities that are coming our way. And I think the Business Development Board, for our local businesses, this is not for me, it's not for the city, it's for them to be better businesses in the city of Pahokee. And I think that's going to be, as we continue to build on that with the Chamber of Commerce, a really a great venture for them to engage in. And the key word is our businesses have to engage the Business Roundtable. We can set the table, but they have to come sit at that table and engage so we can help them be better businesses for the city of Pahokee.
You talk about bringing in these people for the business loans and this, that, and the other. Are our local banks, and Regina can probably attest to this, are they set up to process these small business loans through all the
Yes.
government processes and stuff? That's
Yeah.
a good thing, because if they have to go somewhere else besides local, that creates an issue. So if our banks aren't set up, we need to see that they get online to
Everything
be-
that the county does, they do with the local banks.
Okay, that's great.
Road repair, beautification of our city. As you know, that we've paved about 7 roads so far. We're in the plans now of the second phase. We're going to try to pave at least up to 10 roads this time. And as you know, infrastructure is key when you talk about recruitment of businesses and trying to uplift a community. So we're looking to pave about 10 more streets. We're in the early phases of developing the scope of work for these streets. We've identified the streets, and if anybody want a list of those streets, I didn't bring it tonight, but I can certainly provide. I can certainly provide you a list of streets that we've identified for the second tier repavement. And as we began to identify these streets and we get these projects up and running, we're also, well, what I have done is created a capital improvement fund, and that's going to be in next year's budget. A separate fund that we'll push money into for local capital improvement projects that we can fund ourselves, that we don't need state and federal dollars for. And many may ask, well, what are those beautification projects? Well, we may have an opportunity to go paint 10 homes, you know, for seniors. We may have an opportunity to do some beautification projects along our streetways and sidewalks and so forth. That, again, loans itself to economic development, preparing ourselves to receive that audience that wants to come into the city of Pahokee. And so I think that's very important. Along those lines, we need your support in this venture. We need you to be volunteers when we talk about beautification projects. And we have a couple of committees that, you know, frankly, to be honest with you, have kind of remained dormant over the years. And we need to bring those committees back to life and find those volunteers who want to work on those beautification projects. We need to partner with some of our local organizations like the Rotary, who does do beautification projects, and let's do a larger, you know, program as such with some of the funding that the city can provide. So, you know, I think that's important to, you know, set aside some money for that. We can't always rely on others to do what we can do for ourselves. If we have some dollars that can at least start the program of a beautification project, why not put it in a capital improvement fund for our streets, for our roads, for our sidewalks, to help our residents fix their homes? Because it's a challenge, and I realize it's a challenge. And
I don't think you know how big a challenge it is. I just got back from Mississippi. I was in Jackson, the state capital. We went riding by my family's old area over there, which is right off of State Street. It goes right in front of the Capitol building. I literally was seasick on the road. The road was so bad and so bumpy, and going down some of the side streets. Infrastructure is struggling all over this country. This is the state capital of Mississippi. This is the road in front of the Capitol building. You can't drive 5 miles an hour on it. Road infrastructure around this nation is critical everywhere you turn. So it's not just us, folks. It's everywhere. This road it was unbelievable to me. So y'all have done a great job. Commend you for getting the money, for getting it done, because money is very hard to find to get these projects done.
well, we certainly don't want to be the standard of Mississippi.
Hey, it's not a there's other places that it's bad too, but I'm just saying, you've done a good job in securing the funds that you could get, because money's tight for this kind of stuff everywhere.
Yeah. But the most important thing is, and this commission knows it well, is that we cannot begin to move before we fix our infrastructure.
No doubt about it.
It's unfortunate that this is one of those conversations that has been skipped over for so many years. In fact, I said decades, because we ride some of the streets around here, it don't look like they've been fixed in 40, 50 years.
Not correctly.
You know.
Horrible.
So this is vital. Infrastructure is vital when we talk about biomass opportunities, other investors that want to come into this city, and as Ms. Moss said, if they're coming in the city and they can't drive straight, they probably want to stay there too long, because that is indicative of where the city is infrastructure-wise as a whole. And we have to attack that very aggressively. And of course, we have legislative session coming up in January. Some of our more main thoroughfares like Barfield Road, that's going to be one of our main priorities. That's going back to Tallahassee. That's a complete reconstruction project. That's not a repaving. And I'll be honest with you, some of the streets that we're repaving are reconstruction projects. This paving may last 6 years, and that's a long shot in saying 6 years. You know, so, you know,
Ain't no pavement gonna last here 6 years.
Some
I
extra
don't know.
asphalt down to sustain the viability of the streets they paved. But let's be honest, most of our streets need to be completely ripped up, resoiled, demucked, and then paved again. And that's just the fact of the matter it is. But we're going to try to do the best that we can to, you know, beautify the streets that we have, get the money and repave the streets that need to be repaved, and hopefully, you know, that also, again, spearheads the excitement that we have for individual properties. We have some challenges in code enforcement. Most of you know that. It's an ongoing challenge. One thing I can say tonight, the 3 cities did go to the county and ask for additional dollars in code enforcement. I think we're about 90% there of getting that funded, hopefully through the county. What that would do for the city is gives us an additional person in code enforcement division of building, planning, and zoning to go out and address some of these problems in the community. And because we're actually short-staffed now, we have not hired an additional code enforcement person as of yet. We need to replace the person that resigned. And so we've kind of let that slide over the edge a little bit, but I can assure you that code enforcement has to be primary when it comes to developing this community. We have to have a standard of how this community should be, how it should look when we bring in external audiences like visitors and tourists. We must. We gotta de-junk our in front of our homes. We gotta get rid of those things. We gotta pull back on the illegal dumping. And we have rapid illegal dumping right now. And Public Works can attest to that. We're out on the streets every single day trying to just clean up, not the work that they are titled to do, but the work that's being created through illegal dumping. And that's an educational process. And me and Ms. Moore, we've explored some ideas on how we can push back on that. Maybe we need to create one of those solid waste or areas designated for bulk trash outside of regular trash pickup that you can actually take your trash to and dump. And so we can alleviate the illegal dumping. I really feel those folks that are doing that, they're just not motivated to take it anywhere. And maybe by providing a singular place where they can go and dump that extra trash and extra debris or whatever falls off the trees, we can alleviate the illegal dumping. Because once again, it is about branding. And we have visitors that come to the city every single day. We have to be prepared as a city to meet that challenge and engage them and roll out the red carpet. That's important.
Do we still have our garbage truck that, that picks up the stuff and?
The challenge with the garbage truck is when it works.
Okay. My question, reason for asking that question, that might be an avenue for funds for the city, because if we had a truck that worked, people might be willing to call the city and schedule a pickup from their house to go to the place in Belgrade, because a lot of people don't have the resources to get it to the dump station there in Belgrade. Maybe.
The only downfall with that, and I try to not get the guys to get the truck as often as they can get it, because of 2 things. One, every time they crank that truck up, it's an expensive cost just to crank it up. Number 2, when we take it to the dump, we incur a cost to dump it. But we have a contract that we pay to solid waste, and we pay them to pick up our trash.
Okay, well,
So if we go and dump it, and we pay them as well, we're paying 2 times for one service.
and they'll pick up the same type of garbage, solid waste, I thought.
Solid waste, we pay them for garbage and trash. They pick up the garbage themselves, and they outsource the trash pickup.
And let me just.
And well,
guys do a
I
horrible
misunderstood you then,
That's okay.
because I thought that people were, when you say illegal dumping, I'm assuming, wrong thing for me to do, so, but maybe somebody else did too. I'm assuming that they're dumping the wrong stuff, and that's what you're calling illegal.
No.